All right, we are live, my friend.
How are you guys? Tuesday evening here on the Gold Coast. Tuesday lunchtime in the UK. Apparently, according to Mr. Demi, it's like winter, but it's meant to be your summer. What time is it for you, wherever you're watching this in the world? Put a comment in the comment section. Hopefully, you've logged into StreamYard. Let us know where you're watching from, please. That'll be awesome. The Greek version. Just letting people come in for the show. If you're new to the group, welcome. My name's Gavin, the host of the show, and we have got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Andy Demi. He's still got man flu, and he's sucking on a cough sweet. Mate, they are. Do you actually think they help you?
No,
That's the funny thing.
no. Absolutely.
No advertising unless they're going to pay us.
No, I'm just saying, don't buy these. It's a waste of money. But I've bought them, so I'm just having them now.
Exactly. That doesn't really make sense, does it? I remember a flashback to when I was a little kid at school. I used to get Fisherman's Friend. Why were they called Fisherman's Friend? It's so weird, isn't it?
But you still remember the name.
And it was rubbish. Yeah, good branding. Good branding. And I think my mum would say, "Oh, take one of these sweets. It'll help your voice." And all the teachers used to be super happy because if I had a sore throat or a cough, I'd be quiet. So it makes sense. What were you like? What were you like as a kid at school? Were you an enfant terrible, or were you a bit of an angel?
Probably in the middle.
Oh, I can see that.
Huh?
Did you have the full-on Greek man beard even in like year 7?
No, not quite. But maybe I was hairier than most.
Thank God I wasn't on the same soccer team as you at school. That's all I'm going to say.
No. And do you know what? That worries me that you say soccer. You've lived in Australia too long.
Yes. Yes.
This guy is from the UK and he's calling football soccer. That's concerning.
I'm a child of the universe, Mr. Demi. There is no, and it's called soccer now. Let me tell you that.
No.
Talking of soccer, England are playing a soccer match tonight, aren't they? Czech Republic.
They are. Should be interesting.
Should be interesting. That's about all we got to say about that because it's a little bit boring, to be honest. Let's talk about cryptos. But before we do, got to say some highs to people who have logged in. StreamYard. Janice, great photo. Hi to you. Raj, in the house. Good to have you with us. Nick saying, because fishermen have bad breath. That's probably true. Although hopefully we haven't got any fishermen on the show tonight. Zach is in the house. I've called you Zach like you're my friend now because I've said your name for a few weeks. So I feel like we've bonded. So hopefully I can abbreviate your name. It's another Aussie thing to do. Everyone. Even people I don't know here, they're like, all right, Gav, coming around, see Madge and Alf, come for a bite. Do you remember Madge and Alf, mate?
I do.
I'm going off with some tangents tonight.
Home and Away. Is that right?
How dare you? Madge and Alf were in Neighbours.
Your neighbours?
Come on.
Alf, I'm sure. I swear Alf was in Home and Away.
Really? Maybe I've got it wrong. Can someone please clarify?
Madge must have been in Neighbours and Alf.
Really? So Kevin is there. Alf Ramsey, a.k.a. Legend. But was he in...
Alf Stewart, exactly.
Oh, Alf Stewart. Who's Alf Ramsey? Oh, Alf Ramsey's the soccer manager. Okay, can someone please clarify, because this will really annoy me during the show. Can someone please clarify? Alf Stewart, was he in Home and Away on Neighbours?
Kevin's already told you the answer, mate.
Oh, Kevin, thank you. Appreciate that.
I'm
Home
glad.
and Away.
Yeah,
I think he's winding us up.
Madge is in. I'm sure Madge was in. Was Madge in Neighbours?
Some people are like, who the hell are Alf and Madge? Crazy world we live in.
Even the Australian people don't watch these programs.
Yeah, but that's like saying even English people don't watch EastEnders and
They
Coronation
do
Street.
though. That's the problem.
That's the problem because of English culture.
Yeah.
Exactly
I
that.
wouldn't be caught dead watching that, but yeah. I'd be embarrassed even if I was dead and the TV was on and EastEnders.
Right, guys, for some reason, my laptop, the charger keeps falling out. It's annoying. Sorry if I'm giving you zoom ups of my face. So, competition time out of the way. We have a little competition between our live viewers. In case you're watching the rerun on this, the top 3 people to make the first comment. In this order, Kevin was in 3rd place. Paresh was in 2nd place. Order has been restored. He got knocked off his perch yesterday, but he's back. Slavomir. Good job, my friend. Good job. So look, we also want to say, see, Dan Tyler's showing his age now. Never watched either of them. You've missed out, mate. You have missed out. Do you even know? All right, Dan, and people of Dan's age. So if you have a 2 in front of your name, do you remember Pamela Anderson in her heyday in Baywatch? And so that the girls who are watching don't feel left out, David Hasselhoff in his Speedos in Baywatch. So anybody that's got a 2 in front of their age, do you remember those guys? You remember Baywatch, don't you, Mr. Demi? Dan saying no. You don't. You've never had the pleasure of seeing Pamela Anderson run along a beach in super slow-mo in a bikini. You have not lived.
You do realise Dan Tyler watches this show with his fiance, so he may not be being completely truthful right now.
that was yeah. I remember. So Con's now getting involved. I remember Knight Rider. Was that one of the naughty movies that Miss Anderson did?
No.
Oh, okay. Getting a bit carried away then. So let's change the subject. Anywho, so I just remember I was eating Gladiators had come on. No, yeah, Gladiators was on, and then I was sat with my family, chicken nuggets, chicken wings, all of those sorts of stuff, sweet and sour, whatever, at like 12 or 13. And then the first ever episode of Baywatch came on, and I was with my mum, my sister, my dad, and me in the living room. And then that moment, Pammy running along the beach, it was just, I didn't know where to look. Do you remember that moment?
Oh, you knew exactly where to look.
You're on it, my friend. Haley, you remember Pamela Anderson, don't you, Hales? Wishful thinking, Gavin. Very true. Why do you think I live in the Gold Coast where it's sunny 300 days a year and I'm pretty near to a beach? That's all I'm saying on that. Otherwise, I might sound like a weirdo. So back to all things cryptos. So as I said in the little advert on Facebook to let you guys know that we're coming live, thank you very much for joining us. It's been another one of those weeks. So right now, you're probably either licking your lips going, oh, it feels like the January sales just after Christmas. My favorite. Are we boring you, mate? Or are you just watching, are you YouTubing Pamela Anderson?
I am. I'm looking at the markets to see what's going on.
Mate, you don't stop. This guy does not stop. He's crazy. Anyway, so I'll keep talking. So yeah, at the moment, there's one camp of people going, yes, I can't believe the prices are down. I can accumulate some more bags of crypto, of my favorite crypto, ones that I maybe couldn't afford last month because I was out of cash. And now obviously we've got a bit more cash flow. Or there's the other school of thought, which is, fear. I've just got to sell this now because it's crashing and everything's coming tumbling around. I told you this crypto thing was a scam. I'm going to go and put my money in the bank and get 0.5% interest. So it seems to be that people are in 2 camps right now. What do you want to say to those guys, mate?
Which ones? Well, I guess the reality is that most people, even if they predicted what's going on, would react exactly the same way, even if they predicted it, because you know, the reality is that most people live in fear. And when something like this is going on, you know, most people react in the wrong way, which is like to be scared of the markets, to be scared that they're going to lose all their money, that everything's disappearing. And, you know, I've been trying to help some people I've been having conversations with. And the thing to remember, we'll get more specific in a minute, but the thing to remember is that, you know, if you go into cryptocurrencies because you believe in the future, the new future, let's say, with digital money and a new way of doing things, with better technology, then the reality is that your investments are very, very likely to increase dramatically over the next few years, right? You could say that with quite a high degree of certainty if you believe in that future. So temporary pullbacks, they're not nice. It's not nice to see, you know, your portfolio reducing. Nobody wants to see that in reality. But if you actually take the long-term view, you know, what most people will do is they'll say, oh, I wish I'd sold everything at the top and then I could now buy it back cheaper, right? That's, of course, everybody would love to do that. But if you look at the top investors of the world, they're not really looking to time the market in that way. I mean, we do in some respects when we're trading, like we have to do that for trading purposes. For investing purposes, though, you don't really need to do that. You need to buy solid projects and hold them. And when you've got more money, buy again and hold them. And if you do that process and you don't panic and you don't listen to the news, at some point, could be months, it could be a few years, you're going to be very, very in a much wealthier position. I would say very, very wealthy. Obviously, it depends how much you're putting in, but you're going to probably be in a much better financial position than where you are today. So the key thing is not to panic, not to sell into weakness. That's the worst thing you could possibly do. So, you know, for me, it's about saying, well, this is an opportunity to buy some cryptocurrencies for a lot less money than they were a couple of months ago. And so if you have spare capital, if you don't have spare capital and you've put everything in, the only thing to do is sit and wait. That's all you can do now. And for those that have the skill, is to trade the volatility, because the volatility is great, and make some extra money, and then use that extra money to buy more spot positions when they are at the right prices for you. And that's it. It's really that simple. So there's nothing to kind of fear.
I was having a chat with one of the members of the Crypto and FX Traders Club. He's also a good friend of mine. Having a chat with him earlier on, and you know, he's invested quite heavily into a couple of projects. And I was saying to him, this is the time when you're really earning your money. It's not about what you do now. It's about what you don't do, like what you've just said. And it's the psychology game of like, okay, on paper I'm down, but I'm not selling this because I'm long term in it. I'm hodling or I'm lifing it or until it gets to my certain target. And it's the nice feeling when you don't have to worry. You're just like, well, I believe in this project. I've picked projects that I believe in. Like you said before, it's not just the future, but it's also becoming the present. But there's obviously a little bit of an issue with that, which we'll talk about soon. But it's like, how do you react now when you see this in this face? And I say this most weeks, either to myself or if I have the privilege of you in my company or any of you that are watching now. The people that are the wealthiest, they've learned to buy when everyone's selling, right? They just learned that, and they walk in that face of adversity, or they walk in that face of fear. And then when everybody's jolly and happy and buying, that's when they're offloading. And I'm just really grateful that we as a collective, we're here now for this time. I've got no doubts that when we look back on this will be looked at as one of the great transition times, not just of the world, but of humanity, which kind of is the world. So I've kind of defeated my point there of this transition of having choice, having transparency, having wealth as an energy moving across into a different form that is going to be able to help people. And before you jump in, I just want to say one point that was really interesting to me this week, because I've heard many different opinions and many different approaches on this. I tend to agree with the people that are saying this is a controlled demolition right now. So whether you want to believe that it's people that have got designs on trying to keep the fiat currency, whether it's to keep people using their money in banks, which most people are aware that actually if everybody tried to take their money out of the banks, there isn't anything in there. So it's all built on a house of cards, right? But it's this whole thing of transparency that we can see this now, guys. Like, we don't have to listen to the news and say, well, why is Bitcoin ranging? Why has it actually gone down? Because we can see, thanks to the technology of cryptocurrency, we can see transparency. We can see what people are doing. So, for example, if you know where to look, or you've got some interest in it, check out what the whales are doing when they're buying Bitcoin. Because right now they're buying and they're holding it, but the price is going down. I'm not going to say why the price is going down because it doesn't matter. It's just a label. But if the big boys are buying and they're holding, the price shouldn't be going down. And my friend was saying he's been in finance and investing enough now to see when something doesn't feel right, because the value is there, but it looks like now that things are being manipulated. And when we get to that point, whenever it may be, could be 1 week, could be 1 month, it could be 1 year, because of the people that are holding, especially Bitcoin, the whales, there's going to be a rubber band effect where it's just going to go and just spring off. So I know I've said quite a lot there to unpack, but what's your kind of thoughts on that? And you guys watching as well, let us know what you're thinking of events right now. Is it sell time or is it scare time? Let us know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's, people are wondering, when is the best time to kind of buy Bitcoin? When is it going to bottom out? Where is it going to bottom out? We'll have a look at the technicals a bit later on today. But the most important thing to remember is, as you just said, these markets and a lot of markets, but especially crypto, because it's an unregulated market, there is ways to control, and there is people out there, like a collective, I agree with that, that can manipulate prices. So, and it's done in a way to scare the small person who's not used to it, who hasn't got that experience dealing with these kind of situations. And and obviously my job is to try and help people, because I've seen most things in the markets in my time trading, and I know that I am definitely somebody who can hold my nerve, but I know that's not the case for everybody, and people panic. And if you're one of those people that panics, you will rationalize why you might liquidate your portfolio. You will come up with a valid reason why you might do it. But it's probably the worst thing you could possibly do. If you've bought at the wrong price, if you've bought at a high price, and then you're thinking, do you know what? I think it's going to go lower. I'm going to sell all my stuff. And then suddenly, bang, exactly at that point you make that decision is probably exactly when the market reverses. Not because you're unlucky. And you might say, oh man, I'm so unlucky. It's not. It's by design. The market will look like it's going lower. It's been designed that way. And at that point, as soon as enough people have taken the same action that you've just taken, the market will reverse. And now you're chasing your tail, trying to buy back at higher prices, and you're not in the right space. So if you're holding positions at spot, don't touch them. If you've got good positions, definitely don't touch them. The only positions that you need to worry about is if you're using leverage right now. So if you're using margin, those need to be managed, because if you're in margin trades and the market is going against you, then your positions are at risk. And so my kind of stance on margin is, as you know, I have done very, very well using margin, but you've got to trade it in the right conditions. You've got to use margin in the right conditions. So right now, the conditions are that we use margin, but on the way down. We should short the market if we're going to use margin. You don't want to go against the trend with large margined accounts, because if it's going against the trend, you just don't know when it's going to stop you out. So if you are using margin and you're long, you want to make sure that you can cover any drawdown. That's really, really important. So you always have to keep some dollars spare. That's really, really important. You want to say something?
No, I'm just contemplating and stroking my little goatee.
Oh, fine. I thought you were eager to say something. So, look, the reality is that, as I said at the beginning of this show, there's a very high percentage chance that if you're holding good projects, that your portfolio is probably worth a lot. It's just not worth a lot today, but it's probably worth a lot. It's like, as we've said a few times on this show, the internet era, if you held Facebook, Amazon, Google, all those kind of companies, that at some point they weren't worth a lot, but they were the right things to be holding, and you'd be a multimillionaire if you kept holding them. And I believe the same thing with cryptos. If you're in the right space, in the right holdings, you've done your research and you've got some good projects, your job is just to hold them. And that's not easy, but that's your job. And if you want to be a wealthy individual and you want to make money, that's what it takes. It takes being different to the masses, because the masses will panic and will sell at some point, because we don't know. Nobody really knows. Like, we can make good predictions. We're good at what we do. Sometimes you've got to say, we can't always predict the low. We can't always predict the high. Sometimes you just have to plan for different possibilities. And ultimately, the most important metric is, are you making money? That's it. And are you making money over the long run? And whether you're trading it or whether you're investing, that's the only thing that really matters at the end of it when it comes to crypto trading, crypto investing. Like, no one's going to really care if you predicted, maybe you'll care, and a few of your friends, predicted it was Bitcoin was going to be the top at 65,000. I can prove it. Okay, well, fine, great, but if you make enough predictions, you'll be right at some point. It's like, and irrelevant of that, the most important thing is, what are you doing with your predictions? Like, that's really all that counts. If you predict something and you then profit from it and you make money from that idea, then absolutely, then it means you believed in your idea. But if it's just kind of, you drew some lines and you thought, oh yeah, it's going to be topping here, and then you didn't do anything about it, well, it's kind of like just saying, pub talk, right? It doesn't really make any difference. So, so ultimately, again, going back to what I was saying, right now it's the time. This is opportunity. This is all it is. It's an opportunity, and you can rationalize why you might take a different action and why that doesn't apply to you. But ultimately, it's just about how you frame it. And if you believe in what cryptocurrencies and you're in it for the right reasons, then you'll realize that when Bitcoin was at 65K, and many thought it was going to 100K from there, being able to buy it at 30K is a gift. That's how you got to look at it.
Amen to that. So just checking in with everybody that's watching. If you are watching the rerun on demand at your own time, hi, great to have you with us. We haven't forgotten about you, but obviously the guys who are live, we can read their comments. Nick thinks it's a sale right now in the crypto markets. BJ, that's a new name I haven't seen. And a cool photo. BJ Snow is saying it's a sale in the markets. And VJ, another new name who's catching us live on YouTube. Great to have you with us, VJ. at what level should we be looking to add more Bitcoin? And I think that's a very nice interlude, VJ. Thank you for that comment, because we can take ourselves to the chart of Mr. Demi and have a look at Bitcoin itself.
Yeah, no worries. Let's bring it up. 1 second, guys.
Just while you're doing that, just want to say hi to another new name as well. Janine is also catching us live on YouTube, and Sobial. Can BTC get a pump from here to 35 today? I'm stuck with Matic, bought at 125. That's a pretty good price. At 5 times leverage long. Should I hold or exit now? So let's just have a look at Bitcoin, and then if we've got some time, maybe we can check out a couple of other coins either today or possibly tomorrow. We've got a little announcement to make, so maybe we can do it then. Okay,
so this is what I've got right now. So I know this looks like a lot of lines to a lot of people, but what I'm basically looking for, I was kind of saying this up here. I think it was on our Q&A, or I can't remember where I said it, but I've seen this before where you kind of like, you take out a high and everybody's jumping in. And I was kind of, and one little trick, guys, that I recommend is when we're getting this breakout, go into Facebook groups and go into Twitter and get a feel for sentiment. What do I mean by that? Well, you kind of want to understand what are generally people saying about this breakout. Like, are people kind of saying, we're going to the moon? Or are people saying, no, I think we're gonna, I don't think we're going, I think we're going to go down. So if you start to see that people are saying, hey, this, I told you guys, Bitcoin's going up, it's not in a bear market, and you start to see lots of those comments, that's probably a sign that we're going to break lower. And I definitely started to see signs of that up here. I started to see somebody posted, for example, in a group, say, what did I tell you guys? Bitcoin's not in a bear market. We're heading up. We're going to go hit 47,000 and 50,000. And then obviously, literally from that point, the market has corrected. And so I kind of said this before, the market won't do the obvious. So I know a lot of people are looking at support here. And I know a lot of people are looking at this as the low, potentially. Like I've seen people kind of posting about triple bottom here and so on. Generally speaking, I don't believe the markets will reverse like this. And I did this in my Q&A where I said, I think we will take out the lows and then I think we'll reverse. And that's what I believe is happening. Now, you could argue that we've closed below these lows for the first time. We have not taken out the lows. The low here, guys, is around 30.5. But in terms of closing prices, let me zoom into this. In terms of closing prices, this is the lowest close that we've had. And it was an increase in volume there as well. Now, we find ourselves on a bit of support here, guys. We find ourselves on this line. So somebody was asking about whether that Bitcoin could rally from here. It could. It definitely could rally. However, personally, I think any kind of rally will probably be met with more resistance. So any rally, I'd be looking really, if you're long Bitcoin right now and you're holding this long, short term from here, I'd be looking for something really small like this sort of level here, this old little bit of support, which comes back straight into this line here. So I'd be really looking for about 34.5 tops. And then I'd be kind of coming out of that. Obviously, this could also, from here, just carry on. And if we break through these lows, then we're looking to go down to here. I like 28,000. I like about 28,000 to be the low in Bitcoin.
Why?
Because it feels like, well, there's a couple of things that I think I saw on the lower time frames as well, but that takes me to kind of here, which I see as like a last kind of point of support. So whether we kind of go up and then come down like here, that still brings me to roughly 28,500. I know that we have this kind of level here that spiked down, but if I just show you the 4-hour chart, what it looks like. It looks to me that even if we went up here, it looks to me approximately that if this market carries on going down, I mean, it could even go lower, to be fair. But I do like the look of like this channel line here, which is reacting really nicely. So you can see here, we've got multiple touches. So I feel like when we touch this channel line, I feel like that's going to be a great buying opportunity for Bitcoin. Because for me that, and that could be, I mean, if this kind of did this, for example, it could be lower. It could be 25,000. So it could easily be 25,000 there. So that's what I'm looking for. And there are signs right now that, you mentioned that people are buying. There are, if I just add in, if I add in the money flow here. This is a good gauge of basically if money's going in, and the money flow at the moment has divergence with the price. So you can see here the price is falling, money flow is going up. So that's an indicator that, like you said, that money's going into Bitcoin right now. There's accumulation going on. That's what that's showing me. But that doesn't mean that's the bottom. So I would really welcome this kind of drop, and I'd be looking to buy anything really between 28 and 25. If we look at the daily chart, where does 25 come in?
Yeah.
Hold on. 25 is about there. So if it could do something like this, where we bounce, and it looks like, oh wow, it's going up again. It's up at 37,000, and then everybody gets caught out again. We go down to here, and then ultimately the market reverses. So the best thing to do right now, in my opinion, is to trade these little mini swings and just be aware of where these lines are and where there's opportunity, and just be nimble in the markets, and then look for these kind of confirmations here. If we did this kind of push up somewhere, and then this push down, and then we're hitting this bottom channel line here at around 25k, that's a fantastic buy opportunity. And I'm going to keep you guys updated. I'll be posting in our group what I'm doing. So when I'm not ultimately buying Bitcoin right now for the long term. If I buy it, I'm buying short-term swings and I'm getting out, and I'm shorting short-term swings and I'm getting out, and I'm building up my futures account ready for when I think the market's going to bottom. So that's kind of really it.
Awesome stuff. Let's just check in with some of the comments, but I just want to, it made me laugh. I heard this phrase, BTFD. Have you heard that this week? Or has anybody heard BTFD over the last couple of weeks? Anybody know what BTFD stands for? If you know, if you've heard it being mentioned, just type it in the comment section. Zach is saying profit from the short and hold when done. That is the ideal way to attack this, or to kind of go with the flow of the markets. Priscilla, good to have you with us, saying, let's hope we have some moves this afternoon. The Fed speaking. Yep, hopefully to the right side. And CGS Simmons 1187, another new user. Great to have you catching us live on YouTube as well. The moon is coming. You will see it when Elon starts twerking. I hope we do see Bitcoin moon, but I don't want to see Elon Musk twerk. Sorry, I'm just going to say that out loud. Never, ever do my eyes ever need to see that. Yes, Facebook user, please log in to StreamYard link, please, so that we can see who this person is. Buy the freaking dip, BTFD. It's been bandied about a lot, and that's obviously people viewing it as a great buying opportunity. The sales are happening, mate. That was awesome. And what's really fascinates me is that someone like yourself, you know, you may not be brilliant at everything in the world, but you have learned a language, and this information that we're seeing about the accumulation happening with the whales, you can interpret that just from this. You can interpret that data from the price action, and you can go in as deep as you want. And I find it absolutely fascinating. And I want to ask you, because we've got an event coming up tomorrow, so keep your evening free if you're in the UK. If you're anywhere else over this side of the pond, it might mean an early start like it will for me, but that's fine. But I just want to take this moment to look back to where we were before, when we first started the Crypto Like a Pro training program, and you were raving, waxing lyrical about VeChain when it was 3.3 cents. Maybe you can get up that chart and just show us, because that almost 10x, right? And a lot of the students were like getting in on it. For me personally, I just still didn't understand. I was like, there's only 3.3 cents. Why am I getting it? I'm going to get some other ones. And wow, yeah, a lot of people have done very well out of VeChain. So I was just wondering if we could just get the chart up and just have a look at it and see.
Yeah.
Because I saw today, where's the price right now? Yeah, look, see, it's 6.7. It was at about 7.1 when I woke up today. So I'm really intrigued. Maybe you can give us a little sneak preview as to where, just a quick approximation. Do you think it will get back to that 3.3 level? Because that would be an amazing pickup.
We can have a look.
This time I'm getting all in a bit of VeChain this time.
So this is where it was at that time when we were looking at it.
Wait, so just make it more realistic. Scroll the screen across to the right, and this is what we were seeing back at the end of February.
Yeah, and it just it felt like I didn't understand why it was so cheap. You know, one of the things with cryptos is one of the doubts about cryptos is, you know, is it really going to be used in the mainstream? Is it really going to make a difference? You know, we're kind of used to the way we do things. The way we do things isn't that bad. That kind of thinking. And, you know, VeChain is a project that at that time was being used to improve hospitals, countries. The technology was being used. So there was no doubts about its usage. And I knew it firsthand because I knew it was being used in Cyprus in hospitals, and people there were telling me, you know, how great the technology was, and I just didn't understand how it was at 3 cents. So, you know, we really loaded up on this one, and if you recall on the on one of our crypto shows, I was kind of saying about, I mean, I didn't expect this much of a pullback, but I came out around here, and I was thinking, oh, you know, I'll buy it back. You know, it might stop here, or it might go a little bit lower to 15 cents. And it got to 15 cents. And we're, you know, and I was looking to buy it, to be honest, but obviously you can see the rest of the picture. It's done a lot more than we thought, but now it's heading back. It's below its 200 moving average, and the opportunity is there again, because this project is still there. It's still very, very valuable. So it's just now, instead of being 27 cents, it's at 6 cents. And I believe VeChain at some point in its future will be at $1. I really do. I'm pretty confident that this will hit $1 at some point in its future, which I don't want to make an exact prediction of when. But it's at 6 or 7 cents at the moment. If you want me to kind of make a prediction, I can have a quick little look to see where I think this could potentially be a good price. But on the whole, my recommendation is to figure out Bitcoin, and when you think Bitcoin has bottomed out, buy VeChain.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, mate.
If you're saying that has a chance to go from 28 to 25, that's a fair chance that that's going to pull that below 4 again, surely.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's even though the extension is here, I mean, I definitely think this is there's obviously levels here.
Yeah.
So we've got one level there, and we've got one level there. I mean, this level here is a good price. I mean, I think that's a good, decent buy price, especially if you're buying on spot. Like, how low is it going to go? I mean, yes, it could go lower, but we can go to the lower time frames, but I don't know how much time we have. But the point is that, old resistance becoming future support. This is a good price. I mean, that's around 6 cents. Now, it could be a case, though, guys, that, Bitcoin's going to really lead this. So you may want to hold off until you figure out where Bitcoin is going. Now, if we believe Bitcoin's going lower, then this could also go lower. So it could be a case that you might want to trade it. So you could trade the swing up, take some profit, and then maybe look to see what Bitcoin's doing. And it might do something like that. So you could trade it, make some money, get out, and then look for the bottom that way. And so when you see BTC maybe hitting that channel line, maybe looking like it's going to bottom, then you can ultimately go and buy VeChain and whatever other crypto that you like.
Oh, I'm just about to post the link, guys, because if you're interested in this, you want to really kind of learn how to read the charts. We're doing a masterclass tomorrow. So we're opening back up the spots on the Crypto Like a Pro trading program. As we promised, it was about 5 weeks ago. So it's time to open things back up. I am going to post a link. It's going to be a Zoom webinar. So we need you to follow this link if it will let me. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Cool. So, guys, it's 8:30 p.m. tomorrow night, BST. That's UK time. So, obviously, check your corresponding time zone to see when it is. We'd love to have you on there live. We can't spend that much time now, but tomorrow we'll be going into a bit more detail on this. But also, we'll be distilling everything Andy's learned over an 18-year trading career that's taken him to some of the best trading floors and institutions in the London financial markets. I don't want to spoil everything. If you haven't gone through the webinar, you will learn a ton of value, even if you decide not to come on the program, if it's not in front of you right now. But if cryptos and this opportunity excites you, then come on to the webinar tomorrow, and then we can talk about the rest. But I don't want to spoil it for everyone, but just give us because you break down 4 key areas that you've learned in your trading career that you've taken from the professional trading floor to adapt for the retail trader. Do you just want to give us a sneak preview about those 4 key areas while I swig on some of my coconut water?
Yeah, you enjoy your coconut. Yeah. Yeah, no. So I think like if you're fairly new to crypto, or even if you've been involved in cryptos, I think you'll get value from the presentation. So what I'm going to be basically sharing with you is the 4 core areas. So I think some people want to trade crypto, some people want to invest in cryptos, and some people want to do both. I recommend both. So the first area is about market timing and using the right tools. So as you can see, some of the tools that I use, that's just like a little glimpse. But I'll go through exactly all of the tools that I use to make good trading, high probability trading decisions. And, as I've kind of shared before, market timing is everything when you're trading. Like when you're investing, it's like I said at the start of the show, you could invest at the wrong time, but have the right project and make a lot of money. But if you trade and your timing is off, you're going to be losing money. And so that's one of the key areas that we'll be covering. Now, the second area is basically how to borrow to invest. So using leverage. So as I said at the start of the show, using leverage is important if you want to grow your account fast. If you want to 3x or 5x or 10x your account without kind of risking your account, so doing it in a safe manner. So you still need to use risk management, but I break down basically how I've used leverage to grow my own account. And then you've got to also learn how to protect your account, which is the third part. And that is about portfolio management. So, it's one thing growing your account, but if you're not protecting your account, if you're not protecting your growth, then ultimately you're going to give it all back. So you have to make sure that you know how to manage your portfolio correctly, when to be cash, when to be short, when to be long. So I kind of break down how I do that personally, and how you can do the same thing. And then finally, how to value a coin. So one of the things that misconceptions that people have is if a coin is cheap price, like if it's a cheap price, it means it's cheap and I should buy loads of those and I'm going to become a millionaire. Well, that's the wrong metric to look at. There's a few things that we need to look at, and we break down exactly how to value a coin, how to identify what its potential growth is, and essentially how to pick your coins for long-term holds. So those are the kind of 4 areas that we'll be breaking down a bit more in tomorrow's presentation. And I think it will open up your eyes into how to approach this, especially if you're new to trading. So yeah, that's kind of really it, really.
Cool. And thanks for sharing that, mate. I know I'm getting people asking me, and some of the team members as well are getting people asking them, should I do FX or should I do crypto? If you're still not sure which way you want to go, and obviously you know where you want to go, this is the type of thing that you want to be coming on tomorrow. So if you've got time, 8:30 p.m. UK time, and check your corresponding time zones, because we've got members all over the world now. So check the time zones and make sure that you know the time, and then make your decision. Is it going to be FX? Is it going to be crypto? Do you even want to trade? You'll find these things out when you come along tomorrow. So we look forward to seeing you there. Just going to check back in with the comments. So Mohammed Ahmed, thank you for watching us live, and thanks for your question. Another new member, another new name. By the way, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, means you're probably not a member on the private Facebook group. Go to the Crypto and FX Traders Club, apply to join our club, and we'll approve you. So it's private, but it's free. So you get even more information than what we give out on the free shows. Andy posts his trade setups. Some of the students post their trade setups and things like that. So it's a really cool community that we're building with like-minded people all over the world. That's our tribe. So going back to your question, hey Andy, do you think the bears are back in all crypto markets, or can we expect one last pump? Well, I think maybe you've answered that question in the breakdown, but just in case Mohammed wasn't here for that and he's just joining in now, what would be your elevator pitch to answer that question before we leave?
Well, I think like in simple terms, markets don't always do the obvious. In fact, most of the times they don't do the obvious. So it may look like, so the way I interpret it right now is I think that most likely, I might be wrong, most likely is that Bitcoin will take out the lows and then reverse. So I think potentially we have that last push down. But before that, if you didn't get to watch the beginning bit, I think there's opportunity. So right now where we are, Bitcoin could have a little push up, and I identified that in the breakdown. But ultimately, my feeling is right now is that even if it does push up, I think on one of the examples I gave, a short-term push up to 34 looks easy, and then a bit more of a significant one would be taking you to that channel line, which is like about 37-ish thousand. I think that would represent a good short opportunity to break the lows and then reverse possibly between 28 and 25,000. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And this can take several weeks and maybe longer than several weeks. So the thing to do right now, everybody, is to make money short term and invest in your long-term projects. Make money with the futures, build your assets up, and then use that money to go and buy long-term projects and hold them.
Spoken like a true investorpreneur. I've heard the phrase cryptopreneur as well, but it doesn't really stick with me. Investopreneur, I like it, boo-boo. That is what you are. Raj is saying she's looking forward to it tomorrow, especially the futures account and the leverage. So just to clarify, we've been getting offers and invitations to teach this to other groups around the world. We haven't forgotten about you, but we're opening it back up to this group. It's been about 5 weeks or even maybe a bit longer, actually. So we're really happy to be doing this again and opening it up to the group. So we'll see you tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. UK time. Check your corresponding time zones. Is there anything else you want to say? We've got to keep your voice nice and fresh for tomorrow night. So is there anything else you want to say? Not a lot, but just a little bit before we bounce.
No, guys, just a message for you all. I mean, just remember, stay calm and stay calm and collected. Even if you're having a bit of a bad time in the markets, the key thing is not what happens, but how you react to what happens. That is going to make you a success or a failure. So you have to react like a pro, be strong, be okay with setbacks, and remember the big picture. If these projects do what we believe they're going to do, 5x, 10x, 100x, you're going to become a very wealthy individual by investing in cryptocurrencies. If you remember that fact, and it doesn't matter about the short term, but the long-term picture, you'll be absolutely fine. So just, and reach out to us, reach out to the community, get some help if you're struggling. But don't panic like the rest of the market, because this is what it's designed to do. It's designed to panic you. And Bitcoin might do something crazy. It might even go to 20,000, but just be okay. Be ready for it. Like, I'm telling you now, it could do that, right? So just be ready. You could have a massive spike down. Don't over leverage yourself if you can't handle any pullbacks. That's kind of really the key. So I just wanted to give you that message so that you guys hopefully are empowered to do the right thing.
Perfect. Couldn't think of anything better to say. So we're going to bounce, guys. We will see you tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. UK time. Check your corresponding time zones. We're out. Passeranno, tu fai la ciao.